Do we have a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip or not? On the ground, the IDF forces are battling guerrilla elements of a Hamas terrorist organization that are testing the boundaries of what's happening on the yellow line. And by testing, I mean sending in children, women, and small terror groups to the positions that the IDF is holding. If they do it through underground terror routes or also through attacks from above the ground, this is what's happening. While on the border between the Gaza Strip and Egypt, you have smuggling attempts with drones and movement of people. So are we actually moving into the phase B of the ceasefire between Gaza, Israel, and everybody around it? Are we launching a technocratic government that will lead the Palestinian people into a peaceful future? Or are we heading towards a new round of escalation because Hamas does not want to give up its weapons? So all of this and more here at the TBN Israel podcast. I'm with Mati Shoshani, who has a few more days of reserve duty in his belt for this year.
I'm here speaking on my own accord.
On his
not
own
on behalf
accord.
of the IDF.
Exactly. And the one and only
Tomer.
number 2.
Hello.
So guys, before we start, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and let's begin.
Yair, I'm trying to figure out, it's been months, and we keep being told, here it is, phase 2 is here. Here it is, phase 2 is here. Meanwhile, on the ground, every single day, the headlines are the same.
Yeah.
IDF forces eliminate more terrorists. Terrorists come out of tunnel. IDF eliminates more structures that the terrorists are hiding in. And the list goes on and on. Israel argues with the international organizations. Don't give aid to Hamas. It's rebuilding them. Hamas rebuilds its power in the Gaza Strip. What on earth is going on? I mean, I feel like we've been this repeat story for months at this point. It's getting ridiculous.
Yeah, and what everybody around the world is hearing is that there is a ceasefire, so the fighting stopped. But on the ground, and we've been there to these posts, you have IDF reserves that are wearing bulletproof vests, that are scouting, that are making sure that the terrorists do not cross into the Israeli side, that Hamas will not try to dig for their weapons caches in the Israeli side of the yellow line.
But they are on a daily basis.
And they're doing it every single day. And Hamas is trying to create this reality that there is a ceasefire, but we can still launch small attacks against Israel. And this is what they do. And they do that by exploiting the population. And I'm talking about sending children into the Israeli positions to see if the IDF soldiers will open fire against them or will not open fire, and then Hamas can send maybe, children with guns or women with guns or explosives or suicide attacks, which they do repeatedly again, and again. But things are moving because on the border between Gaza and Egypt, the Rafah border crossing has been opened for pedestrian movement. So it is about 150 Palestinians every single day that can exit the Gaza Strip, and then around maybe 50 that come back into Gaza.
Very small number.
Exactly.
But my big issue is the premise of all of this. The sales pitch for phase 2 was one key component that seems to not be working, no Hamas.
Yeah.
And the reality on the ground is for months now, we've been reporting on this, talking about this, Hamas is always in the picture. It doesn't matter how you turn the tables, how you look at this from a positive angle. Time and time again, Hamas is still in the picture. I'm looking at the situation in the Gaza Strip right now. We're talking about, the IDF still has a substantial amount of forces on the ground. We're still very concerned about Hamas rebuilding itself. The world seems to have said, well, we're sort of moving on, but we're not really moving on with the situation. It's this bizarre limbo where you really can't end the operation in the Gaza Strip without eliminating Hamas, and Hamas isn't being eliminated. And then add to that the fact that the people who are supposed to be removing Hamas, which was supposed to be some kind of boots-on-the-ground force, plug in for the T-shirt that you're wearing, Yair, By the way, you can get this in our merch store, link below the
Shop.tbnisrael.com.
Thank you, Yael.
I say these links too often.
Too often. There was supposed to be boots on the ground in the Gaza Strip, and instead of there being some kind of force, we were talking about Indonesia initially and Azerbaijan, none of them are here. Who's on the ground? IDF is on the ground. Who's talking about being on the ground? Our enemies, the Turks and the Qataris, who might not consider themselves to be enemies, but they're not our friends.
Tomer, correct me if I'm wrong. There is a new force, a new country that says that they want to send 5,000 or 8,000 people
8,000.
into the Gaza Strip. Is that Indonesia?
It's
or-
Indonesia.
Yeah.
It's our best Muslim friend in the Middle East.
This is the largest Muslim country in the world, right? Am I correct? I think so.
I put you all the information about the stage 2 if you want to get what is actually gonna happen until the end.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, so stage 2 should be a movement from a ceasefire that is actually being conducted now with some friction between the IDF and Hamas terrorists into a new mechanism in the Gaza Strip. A formation of a committee, a technocratic Palestinian government. And the word technocratic means that these are people that are not political. They're basically professionals. So somebody that knows how to clean garbage, somebody that knows how to collect taxes, somebody that understands health.
Let's call it what it is here.
Yeah.
Not Hamas. That's the whole point, is that they're not Hamas.
That's
these
what it's
people.
supposed to
They're
be.
supposed to be
That's
not
what
Hamas,
it's supposed to be. Okay.
They're supposed to be or PA affiliated or some kind of, let's call it, Palestinian, Arab, representative, professional with a background in governance or large organization management, and not Hamas affiliated.
And
that's the key.
Yeah, exactly. And they should start the process of demilitarizing Hamas, meaning taking away the weapons, the big weapons, the small weapons, all kinds of weapons from Hamas, and then consolidate it with an international peacekeeping force that will have all the military power, the policing force, the weapons with its hands.
They even made an acronym for it. The ISF.
ISF?
International Stabilization Force. But
Cool.
Those people haven't materialized yet, and yet on the ground is still the Gaza Strip.
I like these
Hamas-
names. It's kind of like, S.H.I.E.L.D. from Avengers and all
Yeah.
these stuff names.
It's catchy acronyms. the Trump White House is amazing at doing this.
Yeah.
And I want to present people with this huge dilemma that exists on the ground. Everyone in this region, everyone in the world wants to rebuild the Gaza Strip. Everyone realizes that it is impossible to do that while Hamas control the Gaza Strip. The IDF understands that it must remain in the Gaza Strip until Hamas is removed, and none of these things are happening. In other words, you're doing partial humanitarian, partial rebuilding. The IDF is not withdrawn, and in fact, it actually had to take over certain key controlling areas, including the land, by the way, where the body of Rani Gvili was found, the last hostage that was returned. That was land beyond the yellow line that was initially established. We're taking over these territories, and the solution doesn't seem to materialize itself, except for a very gradual shift of other people that are involved in it that doesn't really solve the IDF issue.
But what does change is on areas that are under the IDF's control. In these areas, the rebuilding of the Gaza Strip and especially the removal of all the gravel, all of the ordnance and the remains of bombs, all the tear tunnels is already taking place. So there is already reconstruction of the Gaza Strip. It's only under the Israeli side of the yellow line.
Which is where the big cities are not.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And this is the tricky thing, which is, it's like this funny idea. Do you go and build a neighborhood when across the street, literally across the street, there's an active war zone? You don't. Like we're in this.
Nobody wants to invest also.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So the Trump White House has presented these amazing plans for Gaza in the day after, how it's going to be rebuilt. They hired a bunch of people, including the Jewish contractor, I forget his name, who's going to be part of the the rebuilding efforts, and it's going to be Singapore of the Middle East, et cetera, et cetera. And we keep being stuck on this pivotal point, which is Hamas being removed. And in that, people need to understand the reality on the ground. It's not that Hamas has gone back to life as like, we're going to live in Gaza, everything's good, we're doing our thing and taking care of the people. And no. They're an active terrorist organization.
Yeah.
They are on a daily basis hurting their own people. On a daily basis, they're stealing goods that are coming into Gaza, reselling them at an exceedingly high price to make a profit. They're using now drones because the tunnels from Egypt were closed. They're using drones to smuggle weapons back into the Gaza
And
Strip.
we're using the
Successfully.
drones
Very successful.
to
yeah.
hitch and hit their drones, and
Yeah.
there is a whole
There's a whole
drone war going on.
Drone war going
By
on.
the way, Mati, we need to practice and to get this into the IDF, our skeet shooting abilities, maybe, and get some shotguns and shoot down the drones on the border between Egypt and Israel.
I would like to do an episode like
That was fun. Remember that we did that?
I think there's an idea for tourism over there. Anyway, but to our point, so you have the situation. They're fighting. Look, they're hiding behind civilians. They're collecting weapons from, sort of the left behind battlegrounds of the Gaza Strip. They're attacking from tunnels.
No, we need to stick on this one. This is a very important thing. You know how they are collecting these weapons?
With children.
They send children that have no food, no family, nothing to support themselves, to collect these pieces of explosive devices. And in the process of collecting them, many of them explode, many of them lose, parts. And that's how they do it. And that's how they use this to create and build IEDs. This is a terrorist organization that out to the world is claiming that it is protecting the people of the Gaza Strip, but it is using civilians. Moreover, we have 400 aid trucks that enter the Gaza Strip every single day. That's a lot. Each truck is more than $200,000 worth of aid in it, an average. And Hamas is using this money because it sells it back to the Palestinian people with taxes of 15%.
Yeah.
That's how they're rebuilding their economy in Gaza. And they're using it to pay salaries to their terrorists. Then when we were talking about the technocratic government in the Gaza Strip, Hamas is implanting their personnel, and this is known knowledge now. Hamas told their people, do not worry about this technocratic government. Play nice outside to the world, and we will place you in key positions in this transitional government so that you will keep your jobs, so that you will have the influence, and that you can keep moving the Hamas terror movement inside whatever new government is going to take control of the Gaza Strip. So it's basically Hamas with a different name and under the support of the international community. And this is the fear of what's happening on the ground. This is not just a fear. It is happening on a daily basis.
I'm thinking here about a couple of things that I feel like we neglect in the conversation. One is the suffering of the people of Gaza. And I feel like the voices around the world, although many of them were anti-Israel and anti-Zionist in their nature, at least people were caring about what was happening to the people of Gaza. I feel like we've moved away from that completely. No one seems to care anymore about what's happening in the Gaza Strip. No one seems to care about what's happening to the people over there. They're once again victims of Hamas. They once again fall into the hands of Hamas. The factions within Gaza that were trying to resist Hamas, they're being.
It's the only thing they know.
But
there is nothing else in their life.
People
Hamas.
have been trying to stand up to them. Do you remember this was last week this happened, but it happens every week or two. Mm-hmm. The Hamas will ambush one of these factions and just they'll eliminate an entire group of people, and they'll say, and they'll say that there's a huge number of these, whatever the faction is in whatever part of the country, they'll come and eliminate the people altogether. These people are victims of Hamas, and it's not going away. That's one thing. And the second part here is the international involvement in this, and I'm saying this in the kindest way I can possibly muster, where the failure of the international institutions in what's happened in the last couple of years in the Middle East is so large scale. It's so apparent. It's so obvious. They weren't able to stop or even report on Hezbollah in Lebanon. They weren't able to help anyone in Syria while a genocide was taking place against the Kurdish people. Israel had to send troops to protect against a government that was, to a certain degree, supported by an international community. In the Gaza Strip, they couldn't stop Hamas. They cooperated with them under the umbrella of UNRWA. They can't help on the humanitarian level because they admitted full-heartedly that all the aid was going to Hamas, and now they can't help rebuild because no one is stepping up to the plate to remove Hamas. Mm-hmm. And I look at this situation and I say, anyone who has criticism of the U.S. government or the Israeli government, I say to them back, where are you? Where are you with this crisis that's taking place? Where are you in trying to rebuild the Gaza Strip? Where are you when it comes to removing Hamas? It's easy to chant slogans in the street and wave a sign. where are these people that have promised to send aid, that have contributed these funds on paper to rebuild the Gaza Strip? Where are they when where the rubber hits the road, or in the Gaza sense, where the tank tracks hit the sand at this point? Where are they when they need to be rebuilt? And I look at that and I say, this is a key piece that's missing from this conversation that is super dramatic and super substantial.
I think that all the anti-Israel or pro-Hamas supporters are still focused about ending the war, but they don't understand that in order to rebuild the livelihoods of the Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip, you need to remove all the radical elements and all the weapons from within Gaza itself. And I don't hear anybody chanting, take the weapons away from Hamas or give them a better leadership. It's all like anti-Israel, and now there is this campaign against our president, Herzog, that is basically bashing him personally against everything that's going on wrong in the Gaza Strip. And it's just a repeat of the same narratives again.
Did you see the AI images of Herzog the other day?
No.
So we talk about, there's the facts on the ground. There's a whole war that's happening in like the propaganda sphere where people are trying to frame conversations about politicians and leaders. And it depends on their political leaning, pro-Trump, anti-Trump, pro-Israel, anti-Israel. And people have been using AI to insert Herzog into the Epstein file images.
Really?
You didn't see this?
No, I didn't see.
It's hilarious because it's so clearly a fabrication. He's also if anyone knows who the Israeli president
knows
is,
him personally, yeah.
he is the most clean-cut individual ever to walk the face of the earth.
Gentlest one.
He's a son of a prime minister.
He's a son of a president.
President.
Son of a president. And he's this very formal, very, very, almost solid and institutional character. And they're trying to put him in these like
I can't imagine to see
no,
him there.
it looks hilarious because it's so obviously not him in the images. They're trying to insert him into that to smear the name of Israel. And what people need to understand is Israel doesn't want to be in the Gaza Strip.
Yeah.
We want to be out. We want someone else to take over. We just don't want it to be the Turks or the Qataris.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Or Hamas again.
We want to be out of the Gaza Strip. And it's this very problematic situation where no one is stepping up to what has to happen, which is to have that force.
I really, really want to ask about what's going on the ground in Gaza. Like, we have soldiers, friends that serving there every day, and I think the reality on the ground is impossible as a soldier to be in this in between. It's to hold a place that is dangerous for us.
Yeah.
On one hand, on the other, you need to make it ready you need to clean it up, make everything organized, secure the area, to rebuild it in the end.
Mm-hmm.
No, but just to stay there is tough, because when the IDF is entering an unknown territory, especially an enemy territory like the Gaza Strip, which is heavily, densely populated, embedded within the civilian population,
Yair is
and
talking from a
booby-trapped.
personal point of view.
I am, and it's booby-trapped. Like, every step that you take can be your last. It's very, very hard from an operational standpoint to just move the forces in there. And after you build your small area, you need to make sure that nobody is popping from a tunnel underneath the school, and launching a rocket at you. So it's very tough to do it, especially in the Gaza Strip. But in general, being a soldier in these areas, in these communities, in these war zones, is not easy. It takes a lot from you, especially if that's not your full-time job. Yeah. I mean, if you need to do something else, if you have kids at home, and these are the Israeli soldiers that are defending us now, especially in the Gaza Strip. So now the yellow line is mainly posted with IDF reserve soldiers that are rotating like 74 days again and again.
And what the IDF is doing is what we've done in the past, and what every army does when it stops. It starts fortifying. And we build outposts, and we build what the Americans
Matt is still doing that daily.
Yeah, not in Gaza, though. But, and you look at that, it's called, in the American terms, they call it FOBs, forward operating bases. You have a fortified base. There's a small force that operates from it. We have it now in Syria, in Lebanon, and in Gaza. Mm-hmm. Judea and Samaria is a different situation because it's civilian population mixed in from the Israeli side or Jewish side and the Palestinian population. They're intermeshed sort of in Judea and Samaria. Gaza is different. We're fortifying ourselves. that it never goes well.
It's never good.
And
For a maneuvering army to fortify itself is you're always in a disadvantage.
Exactly.
Of waiting to be attacked.
Well,
you have a bigger, concrete wall in front of you, but they have a
so
better
they'll build a
Yeah.
deeper tunnel, or they'll use a bigger mortar. It's this never-ending battle of armaments.
And you always lose if you're not a terrorist.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot cheaper to inflict damage than to defend against it.
Exactly. And the best defense is an attack, especially when you're fighting against terrorists, especially when they're embedded in a population like in the Gaza Strip, where there's no end to the human resource that they have, because they literally recruit children. So we're in a position where the IDF is working in a way it's counter-effective to the way an army should operate, especially in that kind of terrain. We're fortifying ourselves. The IDF is professional. The IDF has methodology. And yet, this isn't the best solution long-term. The best solution long-term is always to have a stable country next to you or stable entity next to you.
And to have
Hamas to be
cooperation between this country that both sides benefit, which, by the way, was something that happened on a one-sided base, because Israel allowed the Palestinians to come and work in Israel for 20 years while Hamas was controlling the Gaza Strip still, up until the war started.
Yeah.
So we had been trying to create this dependency on an economic level between the Palestinian people and Israel and vice versa. But the radicalization is a lot harder.
Exactly. So let's answer the question that Tomer asks. So there's a military element, which is the IDF is building fortifications, and you slowly become heavier and more armored.
And you can't move, and you eat too much, and then you just stand steady, and you get bored, and then boom.
Yeah, exactly. So defense is a very, very problematic game when you're doing counterterrorism. That's one thing. The second part is the long-term solution hasn't materialized yet. What we do have is several moving pieces that need to be noted. We have in Kiryat Gat a huge command and control center that is operated. What are we allowed to say?
By Eli Simberg? Just kidding.
He's one of our video editors.
He's a member of our team. We have Eli in Kiryat Gat. Aside from him, the Americans with other countries have a huge logistical center in Kiryat Gat that has everything you need for nation building. They have the engineering, they have the humanitarian, they have the know-how, they have the people there. The big piece that has been missing, and we're talking like 4 months now?
Yeah.
That they've already been, for the most part, sort of present there and waiting. These people are there waiting for the military solution to materialize. And the solution always was a blanket solution for the Gaza Strip. Never, we're going to work only where the IDF is and then hope that they move forward or hope that something's rebuilt on the other side. That solution has yet to materialize when it comes to removing Hamas. The logistics are there. The logistics on the Rafah side, which is the southern part that borders with the Sinai Peninsula, which is connected to Egypt, that part has also become partially operational. Not fully, but partially operational in feeding in humanitarian aid. But the big piece, the big thorn in the flesh of the IDF, the big logistical, the big diplomatic issue remains Hamas. And that's where the only people who can really solve this are the Trump White House and the other partners that they brought into this solution. And my question is, my sense, and I'd be interested to hear what both of you have, is that part of this is hinging on Iran, or Iran, as we're supposed to say it. We keep getting comments in the notes that we mispronounce. I apologize. It's Iran is the name of the country. The question is, will the U.S. be able to to bring the Iranian regime down and then show everyone that the only horse to bet on in this race is the American government in this region, and then Gaza follows that. Because my sense is things have slowed down with the Turkish, with the Qataris, with the others, because they're waiting to see where does this go. I'd be interested to hear what you guys think.
Well, I think it's going to be a slow process. I think that's the key point.
I think
you just talked
everybody
about it.
had enough from Hamas in the Middle East.
No, I don't think so. People had enough, so what? But they're not going to do something about it.
Yeah, but
Because people are afraid of Hamas. And all this international peacekeeping force that we keep hearing about, countries wanting to say send 100, 200, 8,000 soldiers. It all comes down to the point that what happens if they need to open fire at the Hamas terrorists? And none of these countries are willing to do that, because that will present them as standing on the side of Israel against a fellow Muslim organization. Doesn't matter that it's a terrorist organization, but they're afraid and they don't want to be in this position because the public, popularity around the Muslim world is against Israel. Even if the governments and the leaders have agreements and cooperation with Israel, the bottom line, people do not, because they have been brainwashed for many, many years against Israel and against Jews.
Can I ask a circular question?
You always do.
I'm asking for permission this time. Who's the one indoctrinating them, though? It's this funny conversation. If the government has spent billions indoctrinating the people or allowing elements within its society to radicalize their population, and then they say, we don't know what to do with these people. Look at them; they're so radical. We would love to have peace with you, but they're so radical that we can't.
They will topple our regime. Yeah.
Whose education system do they go through? Whose masjid, whose mosque system do they go through? Whose imams are they listening to? They're yours. You're not a democracy. You control everything that happens in the country. And suddenly you wash your hands. Oh, I don't know. There's such a troubled generation. They're your own people. So, I find it to be humorous sometimes when someone like MBS comes out and says, look, I would love to have a normalization.
My people.
We can't move so fast. My people, they don't really like the Jews. They don't like the Israelis. They're such... Come on, we're not a democracy.
You're not asking them for anything. Why are you asking them now?
You're not the kind of country that asks for permission to do things from its people. I mean, again, I know there's nuance here beyond this, but still, it's like this funny conversation in my mind of like, oh, we're just going to, take them at their word of like, oh, we would love to have the peace agreement. No, it has to be a dramatic change. And by the way, we saw this happen, with who? The Emiratis.
Yes.
The Emiratis did change their curriculum.
They did.
They changed their curriculum away from what was related to the Muslim Brotherhood curriculum to one that is more of tolerance and peace and understanding, and it changed their population.
And now you have Israeli singers doing huge concerts in the United Arab Emirates.
And living there.
Yeah. Israelis relocated their lives, their businesses, their offices from Jerusalem to the United Arab Emirates. So
we all remember who brought the Abraham Accord. This was Trump in this first...
TBN?
TBN, yes.
So...
No, we were there to document it.
We were there to film it, for sure.
But here, we are almost 3 years in a war with
Mati,
Iran.
how many days did you serve in this war so far? 500?
No, I think I'm at like 450.
450?
Yeah,
That's a lot. I did like 120
until
my knee
Your
gave
knee disconnected.
up. Yeah. So 100, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's not extreme.
How the day life look?
Yeah.
No, it's not extreme. What I'm doing is not abnormal at all for people in the IDF. In fact, most people do. Most people that are in where I'm positioned in the army in Judea and Samaria, many people have done more, especially when you're in the an officer. And we have people in our team that have done just as much reserves in much harsher conditions.
Exactly.
Far away from their families, far away from their homes. It's not abnormal. The IDF has been working very, very hard. And the people paying the big price are the regulars who fought, some of them for almost a year straight in Gaza, then Lebanon, then elsewhere.
Then Judea and Samaria.
Trying to clean out the terrorism from the big cities. And then the reservists. And there are a lot of people who are my age or older that have been non-stop in reserves for a very, very long time. It's a big toll.
It's hard also if you're like around the age of, 35 or 40 or something like that.
I'm 42,
It's,
Listen, I'm not a spring chicken anymore.
And being in the army, you don't sleep a lot. You have maybe 5-6 hours of sleep if you're in an active unit. And sometimes it's not even straight the whole night because you need to wake up and you need to do guard duty.
And then sometimes you think you're going to go to sleep and then Tomer calls you to say we're doing a live.
Exactly. And when you have some time off the operational activities, then Tomer gets a call. So yeah, it's hard on the body. It's hard on the mental ability because you also have your job to worry about. You have your family to worry about.
Yeah.
And even if you go home for like 48 hours or a few days, these issues still remain and you need to deal with them. So
how do we do that?
Yeah. How did you do this in this war? So what? Nutrition, that's important. And it's also very hard in the army because I don't know. I had cabanos, which is basically this canned
It's like preserved meat.
preserved meat.
Yeah.
To
No, it's
eat.
not canned. Cabanos isn't canned. It's
Not
it's
canned.
Like a,
No,
it's like
no.
a dry sausage.
Yeah, exactly. To
It's
eat
like-
that
it's like a
every,
jerky, yeah.
to eat that every single day. And then also tuna cans is actually
Very
a good
tasty.
nutritious thing. You don't have it all the time.
Tuna steak when you burn the
and then a
top.
lot of white bread. And in the beginning of the war, people gave us lots of
Cookies and
candy, cakes, cookies,
Yeah.
which also made you
No, so
gain
so
weight.
the army's caught up on like food and it's improved dramatically. Nutrition is one, exercise is another.
Which is hard also if you're in the middle of the Gaza Strip, because you're with a bulletproof vest inside a protective small area, and you can't go on jogs because you'll explode
Yeah.
or be kidnapped.
It'll be your last jog.
Yeah,
If you go for
exactly.
a jog. So it's interesting. That's one part of it. And then another part that both me and you have participated in is Vinya. And especially, you know, when you look back and you have like traumatic seasons in your life where you're like, I can't believe I went through that. So the beginning of the war was that.
Wow.
Also, Am Kedavi Rising Lion, I don't know what it was about, like that first phase. I was the missiles every night, where we just didn't sleep
Yeah,
for such
no.
an extended period of time, and I was crashing. It was rough. Where you just you sit there and you're like, my mind's been blank for about 3 minutes.
Try to sleep.
Try to
wake
stay
up.
awake. We took, especially in the beginning of the war, I took Vinya every single day, sometimes more than the recommended. But I'm also a bigger guy, and it worked amazingly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how to explain. Well, I think we know who can explain it to us, but it worked amazingly for me, and I know it did the same thing for you.
Yeah, exactly. I remember, going into the Gaza Strip, I basically took with me a few pair of socks, underwear, and the Vinya box. Because you wake up at 2 a.m. and you take one pill and it wakes you up because it boosts the blood circulation. And I'm not going to try and explain to you guys the science behind it because we have the expert from Vinya, the CEO, Ilan Sobol, coming here to show and also to present new products that they have. But in the meantime, if you want to get Vinya for yourself, you can go to tbnisrael.com. Okay, that's our first partner, I think. Maybe them and others, but
Yeah.
we've been using them for close to 2 years.
No.
There's the science behind them.
At least 3 at this
you
point.
more.
At
Yeah.
least 3.
We've seen their R&D facilities. It's an Israeli innovation made out of red grape cells that are taking all the best that you can have from grapes or from wine, but without the
No
alcohol
sugar.
and without the sugar.
No sugar, no alcohol.
Yeah, exactly.
No insulin spike.
So
Only
that's the whole
good
point.
Only the good stuff.
And it works. I feel good when I take it. More energy, more blood flow. But let's hear from the expert.
So if you're joining us through the magic of television, we're now rejoined by Ilan Sobon, our good friend.
Great to
who is
be
the
here.
CEO of Bioharvest Industries.
Bioharvest Sciences.
The people behind Vinya and several other things. And we were just mentioning before you joined us, talking about what Vinya has done. Now you have a whole line of new products. We talked about the energy it gives. We talked about the effect of how it works. And we were impatient, very, very impatient, and already started.
I'm making one right now.
So tell me, what is this amazing drink that we're already sampling?
So this drink is really made with your inspiration. Because what happened is when soldiers like you were in Gaza fighting the war, and I remember going to one of the laboratories that the Israeli Defense Forces was using to test the quality of the water that soldiers were actually utilizing in Gaza, because you're taking water from watering holes, boreholes. And obviously it's the Army's responsibility to check to make sure that there's no microbacteria and that water is actually water that can be consumed. And I was at this laboratory that the Defense Forces uses, and I asked the head of the laboratory, what are all these samples? And he said, these are samples for the soldiers in Gaza, because we have to check all the potential areas where we can find potable water. And I'm like, well, what are the guys drinking? They're just drinking water? He goes, yeah, they're just drinking water. I'm like, what? This is the Israeli Defense Forces. This is the best defense force in the world. This is we have technology on steroids when it comes to, the Iron Dome and everything else. I'm like, wow, we've got to give our soldiers the best hydration solution. And as you guys know, because during the war, I would be inundated with phone calls, whether it was from, Miloimniks, i.e. guys, your age that are going back in, or parents of young soldiers calling me up and saying, can you deliver Vinia for our soldiers? And we were continuously delivering to the envelope area to parents or to people like you guys. I remember you called me up.
Remember? I said, I'm out. And I came out of the Gaza Strip driving home, and I text you like a voice recording, I'm out, can you send me another bottle of Vinia?
And literally, we were mobilizing to give you guys what you needed, because ultimately, understanding when it comes to Vinia and what Vinia does, the power of blood flow, all driven by the fact that our product Vinia is clinically proven to significantly increase the dilation of arteries. And with more arterial dilation, you have more blood flow. And with more blood flow, you have more oxygen, more nutrients flowing to the body, tissue, cells, and organs. And that's the physical energy and that mental alertness that you guys were talking about. Because the mental alertness comes from blood flow to the brain. If you think about it, the brain, guys, it's 2% of our body's physical mass. It utilizes 20% of the body's oxygen and 15% of the blood flow. Wow. Now,
for some of us, a bit less. I think Mati's maybe 15% is using.
maybe we could do.
Yair's been waiting for that one for a while.
That was a great setup, right? So what Vinia does is that Vinia is increasing blood flow to the brain. We get below the blood-brain barrier, and our critical ingredient, the piceid resveratrol, that we're the only company in the world that can produce piceid resveratrol, which is that magical polyphenol that comes from the red grape that we magnify 100 times in our manufacturing facility with our bioreactors. It's able to get below the blood-brain barrier, increases the dilation of the arteries and the capillaries, more blood flow, more oxygen, and that's why you're more alert, goodbye brain fog. So, then let's come back to
this on the ground, though.
Yeah,
people hear this, and they compare it in their mind maybe to coffee, or to other things that give them energy, and I say it's not the same. It's
correct.
A very, very distinct difference. I say I'm not a medical professional. This is my personal experience. When you caffeinate, or a lot of things that are supposed to make you more alert and focused, what you feel like is a squirrel on a wheel, or a hamster on a wheel, is the expression. Your brain's running full speed, but there's nothing happening inside. Where this is different.
Correct.
With Vinia, you just feel clarity, even though you have this brain fog, that you should have the brain fog of fatigue, of dehydration in some cases, etc.
Correct. So caffeine, as we know, is a stimulant, right? So you will get that alertness for a short period of time. Now, the way Vinia works, and again, you guys understand this because you've been partners with us for a long time. You understand we're a science-based company. And we've done multiple clinical trials. And we did a clinical bioavailability trial, which demonstrated that Vinia, the piceid resveratrol, that magical ingredient, actually lasts in the body for 12 hours, with a peak after 1 hour and a peak after 5 hours, which is why you get that sustained energy all through the day, and you have that focus, that alertness taking you all through the day, because it lasts in your blood, in your bloodstream, in your blood plasma for that 12-hour period. So now let's do the segue. I can see you guys are consuming, and that
I want to try. I want to try
really
the other flavors.
I got lots of. You got
lots of flavors.
You got to get the backstage crew to bring in some more cold water. Right?
We'll tell them. Gitai, can you get us some more cold water? Don't worry about the shot. Come in the middle.
Thank you. So now I want to go back to the segue on hydration, and people don't realize this, but our bodies are 75% water. Okay? Our brain, 80% water.
Oh, wow.
So when your body's feeling dehydration, it could be 1 to 2% dehydration in your body. You feel it. Your blood volume drops.
Yeah,
your blood becomes thicker, and you become tired and sluggish. And the irony is, what the body feels last is thirst. You actually feel thirst last. It's the fatigue and tiredness that you're feeling before. So when you're thirsty, when you're feeling that
It's already too late, huh?
you're in trouble,
Okay.
right? So what we also understood is that today, if you look at the electrolytes hydration marketplace, it's a monster market, whether it's here in Israel or in bigger markets like the United States of America. And all the brands there are replacing electrolytes. It's great, helping you drink more water and replacing the electrolytes. Now that's great, but what's critical is you got to have the right transportation system to ensure that the electrolytes and the fluids are able to go deep to all your cells in your body. And that's what Vinia does, because we are the king of blood flow. We're basically opening up your 60,000 miles of arteries, capillaries, and veins and making them like superhighways. We're the plumbing system to then make sure that highest quality electrolytes, and here we have unique electrolyte mix where everything is natural. The sodium is sea salt. The potassium is from coconut water. And the magnesium is marine magnesium. So you've got these high-performing electrolytes going through this amazing transportation system, ensuring that the fluids and the electrolytes are being delivered to all of your body, all of those cells, deep into those cells. And that's why with this product, then you're able to have more physical energy, more mental alertness. It maintains body temperature. Think about how important that is when you guys are in Gaza, the heat, right?
Yeah,
maintaining
the bulletproof vest, the helmet.
And that's all been
sun.
exactly. And another 50 kilos, or in the USA, will
magazines
translate
and all
100
that,
pounds
yeah.
on your back, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why this is a high performance hydration solution. It's got the power of blood flow, really supercharging the fluids and electrolytes. And then we did one more element, which is super critical, just to validate how good this product is that every single batch is certified by Informed Sports. Informed Sports
What does that mean?
It's an association
Okay.
based out of London, but it's global, and they're testing for 500 anti-doping substances, because today we have some major athletes who are utilizing this product, and we can't in any way cause a challenge for them you can ruin people's careers. So you've got the highest quality specification, but you know what, guys? The most important thing, and you can
tasty.
see it, hold up your bottles.
It's tasty.
You got nothing in it, right?
I'll jump to the end. This tastes really
Right.
good.
I
Really
want-
good.
Yeah, it's good.
Really,
I want to
good.
try a different kind of flavor.
Open up. What do you want? Why don't you try the orange? You can try.
Orange?
There's a
Yeah.
summer orange here. Well, there's watermelon as well. You can open up the
Watermelon. Yeah,
watermelon.
let's
You can go,
open the
watermelon.
watermelon.
So what's critical is we spent, and I'm going to share a number. It's going to maybe make you fall off your chair. We spent more than 1,000 hours, R&D hours, formulating this product. Okay.
Thank you, Yael.
And we worked with one of the best formulators in the
Thank
world. And this product, every single flavor, some of the formulations we were on, like our summer orange.
Yeah.
I was laughing about it last night, talking with our partner Lewis from Bevnology, based out of Atlanta, that we worked with. He's a legend, and I worked with him in previous lives. Probably the best formulator in the world. We worked on 17 versions of orange to get it right. You know, these other companies,
Really?
they take any flavors from any flavor houses, and off you go. But this product tastes amazing, and it's low calorie, 25 calories, which is nothing.
Yeah.
Proof is in the pudding when you look at the results. And we've been in the market now since early January, and wow,
Cool.
all our hard work, and it's like, again, this is 12 months of development. It's paying off. So I'm going to join you, gentlemen.
So I would say that
Here is the orange.
this part is not just for like people that are stationary. This is good for
active people.
athletes.
This is from
and for
athletes,
active people,
all the way-
IDF soldiers.
Exactly. You know, you're talking.
I will
Look,
try the
at the end of the day, we all need this as part of our daily lives. You know, every day, tens of millions of Americans are dehydrated, but we've built this in a way that it works for athletes. We've got the Informed Sport certification, and ultimately, because it tastes so good, people are then feeling good about hydrating and drinking, the amount of water that you need every single day.
How many can I take a day?
Okay, so from a clinical trial perspective, again, we're a science-based company. We know that you only need one equivalent of one capsule of vinea,
His
and
question was
in
how-
each one
how
of
many
these.
can he eat
I'm
of?
getting there.
They're very tasty.
no,
it was
very
good. This is my third already. So
Inside each of these capsules, inside each of these sachets, you have the equivalent of one capsule of our vinea red grape cell powder. Just opening this up here so everybody can see what a capsule looks like. But how many you can have, basically, you only need one to get the overall
Benefits,
increase in arterial dilation. And remember, we say one every day for 90 days. That was our clinical trial. But there's no issue having 2 or 3 of these a day. Specifically, if you're healthy, you're active, you're working out. If consumers are older, I would say, just be responsible because this does have sodium in it. And if you have high blood pressure, you have to be careful. You're obviously aware that you should have a low sodium diet. So I wouldn't be recommending people that need to have a low sodium diet to have more than one of these a day, and they should be careful around it. But this is really the areas of precaution. But for people your age, my age, younger athletes,
we sweat on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Exactly. You got to replace the fluids.
So wait,
you gotta
so
rate the sweat.
what taste is this? This is the
Watermelon.
It's amazing.
I'm curious about this one.
This is very good. I'm going to tell you something that maybe
I like this one. I think this is my favorite.
Wait till
so
you
far.
try the lemon lime.
It's
I gotta give you
very
guys. The
good.
lemon
Yeah.
lime is also
good.
it's amazing.
I
And
wanna
fruit
say-
punch.
I want to say this. A lot of people talk about sports and electrolytes. What they sell usually is table salt and sugar.
Yeah.
That's what it usually is,
Yep.
and
Yep.
artificial flavors.
Yep.
I looked at the ingredients on this. That's not what it is. It's a lot of really good stuff, good ingredients, plus the vinea element of it.
It's
I-
clean.
which is the
it's
key.
clean.
Yeah.
Clean, Mati. That's the key thing. The ingredient panel is clean. I've shown this to top nutritionists that are brutal on big companies out
Yeah.
there. They look at this and go, this is clean, right? We do have 45 grams of sugar, which is nothing. Now, of the 45 grams of sugar, 3 grams is from the potassium, which is from the coconut water. So it's good sugar.
4 to 5.
I would say 4TO5.
2.5, yeah. So
Four-
45 grams.
No,
of sugar
no,
is a
no,
lot.
no, no, no.
Wait, no, I'm-
Don't say that.
That's why I corrected you.
Okay, thank you.
4 to 5 grams.
It's my accent.
I know.
Correct.
That's why I wanted to
Thank you.
clarify.
Thank you for that clarification because it's important for the electrolytes to pass through the membrane. You need a tiny amount of sugar. So we have 1 to 2 grams of sugar per sachet. Okay. And that's to help the electrolytes move through the
No,
membrane.
there's another part. Your body has sensors in the mouth. It needs sometimes the glucose to know that it can continue with endurance sports. There's a receptor
Correct.
that
Correct.
Yeah, there's
Correct.
a-
Where did you read
This
this?
is important.
Matti,
Wow, he's
like,
surprising.
Like, he's
He's
full
a
of surprises
scientist.
today.
Matti the scientist.
Because the vinea now is activating more of his brain.
the oxygen,
That's why.
the oxygen is
I
going.
can access my. Anyway, so people are afraid of it. It's not true. If you're moving, you need a sustained amount of electrolytes in your body. People oftentimes confuse, by the way, dehydration or the lack of electrolytes with just water. It has to be a better mixture.
Correct.
One, this tastes amazing.
Thank you.
2, if you have everything balanced in there, which it seems like it is, it gives your body exactly what you need, specifically when you're tired or exercising.
100%. And just lastly, I wanted to say is for those small amounts of grams of sugar, it's organic cane sugar that we use. So the best of the best of the best.
Nice. No, and we've been to your facilities, to the R&B. We've seen the...
You've seen the biggest plant cell biology manufacturing facility in the
Exactly.
world.
I wanted to say that we've seen your nuclear reactor, but it's not nuclear. It's like a bioreactor or
Cellular,
something like that.
cellular,
We've been talking a lot about
you
Iran
guys,
and
yeah,
nuclear
yeah.
stuff. So it's just amazing to see the science behind it and the people that are thinking about these ideas and innovating. And it's really cool to see that Israel is still leading the world in innovation, in biotech, in anti-rocket defensive systems, in technology and education.
Yep.
And this is an amazing way to support the state of Israel. Okay,
Yes.
this is an Israeli innovation, an Israeli corporation that is going around the world and doing good, increasing blood flow from Israel to the
This
nations.
is, for us,
know?
this is all about basically Isaiah. And for us, in a small way, to do what we can to be a shining light to all other nations. And one of the things I wanted to share with the audience is that we have a special program in the US called Vinia Heroes, which is targeting all first responders. So
Cool.
we're talking about military, we're talking about veterans, we're talking about police officers, firefighters, basically your emergency care workers, doctors. And we give all of these people 20% off for life.
Wow.
Okay, exactly. Show me another brand out there. Find me another brand out there that's giving 20% off for life. That is also on all of our products, including Vinia Blood Flow Hydration. You just got to go to the website, or you can call in, you register. For example, if you're in the military, you have a special number, we take your number, we validate you, and off you go, you get 20% off for life. And this is all about giving back to those people that protect our communities. And in Israel, we launched Vinia initially in Israel, then we moved to the US in 2021.
Yeah.
This product we launched, it's hot off the press 5-6 weeks ago. We're going to be launching it in the summer in Israel. And we're launching it focused on guys like you. As everybody, viewership understands, guys like you, normally on a regular year, you're doing 2 months in the army, 2 months of service. You go from work to the army for 2 months. Now, in difficult times, it's been a lot more. And how many days have you served?
Well, Mati has been serving for 500 days, and that's, I think, the average.
Amazing. Amazing.
It's just...
These
it's a lot.
guys really represent the heart and soul of what this country stands for. And so when we launch this in Israel, together with you guys, we're going to run a program where we're going to give 20% off to all the soldiers out there.
That's
Okay?
nice.
We'd love that.
That's
Right?
nice. That's very needed, yeah.
So this is the same commitment. We do it in the US. Of course, we got to do the same thing in our mother country.
I like it. And guys, ladies, everybody who's watching, this is also another way to support our work here at TBN Israel. Because we've been partnering with Vinia, with Ilan, since day one that we launched the Boots on the Ground shows and the podcast. And if you want to support us, you can go to Vinia, tbnisrael.com, okay? And then you get Vinia, and on the way, you're helping us create, produce, and share the truth from Israel. Again, that's Vinia, tbnisrael.com.
Yeah, and I want to say one more thing here, which is the blood flow part. This isn't just about selling a product. This is something that's actually good for people that consume it. Almost everything that has to do with longevity, with health, has to do with blood flow. They say, go to the sauna, blood flow. They say ice bath, blood flow.
Blood flow is the source of oxygen.
Exactly.
Oxygen is the source of life.
They say exercise, blood flow. All of these things that are the metrics of how to live a healthy lifestyle, they all tie into this. We're adding that into this product. I can say firsthand, I've experienced it many times before. You feel it, you talk about arterial dilation. What you literally feel is you feel your capillaries open up. I mean, it's a literal difference in the way you feel like the blood flow in your body. And I'm a healthy, active individual. We've heard this from people that are not very healthy and not very active, that the difference is even far more dramatic. People on the older side of the spectrum. And I think that's the key point here. It really works. I mean, this is proven science.
Look. Ultimately, as a company, our North Star is all about developing life-changing compounds from plants and being able to democratize these life-changing compounds from plants and doing it in a way that preserves the planet for generations to come. And as you guys have seen, our technology, we utilize a microfraction of the land, a microfraction of the water and the energy.
Yeah.
There are no insecticides, no herbicides, no fungicides, no solvents. It's a clean product. And so, this really go back to Isaiah, and we're trying to bring the power of what God gave us, right? The Lord gave us 500,000 plants, ultimately in day 3 of creation.
Yeah.
And so many of those plants contain treasure that is so critical for our overall health and wellness. And that's what the company that I have the privilege of representing, and almost like I feel like I'm an ambassador for these 500,000 plants, to be able to unlock the treasure inside plants utilizing our biotechnology and to bring those critical phytonutrients in this case, the piceid resveratrol and all the polyphenols in vinea to consumers out there, to the world in a way that's ultimately affordable and is going to improve their overall health and wellness. And the best thing for me is that I get to go to bed every night and I have this habit of going through all the customer reviews that come in. Every single customer review that comes to Vinea. And we have more than 85,000 customers. And if you go online, you'll see more than 10,500 reviews with a 4.7 out of 5 rating. Mm-hmm. I read every review. Every review comes into my inbox. And it gives me strength. You know, the word in Hebrew for strength is chizuk, chazak. It gives me strength because what we're doing is we're building a movement of change. Yeah. We're breaking barriers in biology.
Yeah, and you know, and when he goes over these reviews, and he does, he actually sends me screenshots if it has our names on it. So let me.
Why did you read that one out?
Let me read one from yesterday that he sent me. Vinea, I told my doctor. That's the title of the review. Yair Pinto, that's me, guys, by the way, on Boots on the Ground program, seen on TBN, is where I learn about Vinea. I ordered a month's supply, and after taking it every morning for several months, it made a big difference in my energy and physical ability to do my daily routine. Great product. So I told my primary care doctor about it, and now he's taking it too. Try Vinea. You'll be glad you did.
This is a real review, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a 5-star review.
It is.
Whenever I get reviews, I do this, for often, there's different ways people hear about the product. And, whenever I get reviews that mention you guys, I send them to you guys all the time.
Thank you.
It's my nighttime. What time did you get that review?
Let me see.
Yeah, you'll see. I think I sent it at 2 o'clock this morning or something.
4 a.m. Just
4
kidding.
a.m. Guys.
2:40.
Okay, 2:40.
a.m.
Now, let me tell you something. The reason why I can work at 2:40 in the morning after I've slept for 3 hours is I don't have brain fog. Okay, I'm sharp, and that's because of Vinea. Before I came to this company, which was 6 years ago, and invested in the company, I was one of those guys that would wake up in the morning and my brain was not functioning until 11 o'clock and 3 coffees. Different story. Now it drives my wife crazy because I'll be up at 3 o'clock. I'll be on my phone.
This guy is one of the most hyperactive guys I know.
And she's like, get that light out of my face, right? Or go and sleep in the basement.
Well, thank you so much.
It's always a pleasure to hang out with you guys.
In person.
Thank you for what you do for the state of Israel on the battlefield and from a communications and media perspective.
Well, we're on our way to the U.S. pretty soon, and the time difference is hard because of the jet lag, so we're going to try some.
This is great for jet lag. And when you're on the plane, of course, it's such an important use case because, the need to stay hydrated and to have the arterial dilation when you're on an aeroplane is so critical. And we know from so much feedback from consumers that when people are traveling and they're on Vinea, their ability to basically regulate to the local time is much faster. That's a whole nother science-based discussion related to the clock gene that we have in our body.
Really?
Yeah. Different. Well, I'll come back.
Different podcast. Different podcast.
Next show. I'll try it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ilan.
It was
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you, Tomer.
Thank you.
Did you enjoy this flavor?
Very much. That's my second bottle.
What flavor were you drinking?
I'm drinking the orange.
Summer
the black
orange.
one.
By the way, Tomer, that's formulation number 17. Before I agreed to launch that flavor, we went through 17 formulas.
Wow.
Do you do like
So
a
tasty.
blindfold tasting?
Yeah, we do all of that. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, taste is king. If it doesn't taste good, it doesn't matter how good the science is.
It tastes really good.
Yeah,
I just drank 2 of these while we're sitting here. So
Yeah.
it's quite good.
Well, we have lunch waiting for us. Let's go eat. Thank
Great.
you guys for joining. Make sure to keep praying for the peace of Jerusalem. Stand with Israel. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. See you
Amen.
next time on TBN Israel, the podcast.
Hello, this is Mati here in Jerusalem with TBN Israel.
This is Yair Pinto from TBN Israel here in Jerusalem. TBN Israel is keeping viewers informed with Israel-focused news, culture, and what God is doing in this land.
Support TBN Israel today online at tbn.org/Israel. Thank you.